The Jefferson Town Green was developed early in the town's history. It quickly became a focal point for local business and activities in the town and remains so today. During the time in the Revolutionary War, Jefferson, unlike the nearby Schoharie Valley, was an unsettled area. Land in New York State was divided up into large patents. The boundaries of the Strasburg patent, which covered much of what is now Jefferson, were surveyed in 1771. But individual lots within it were not surveyed until 1793. Soon after that, with the area now open for settlement, development prospered. In 1797, Elkanah Watson sold Colonel Stephen Judd 16 lots covering around 2,000 acres. Judd soon built a mill on what is now the west edge of the hamlet, where the Mill Pond Inn is today. By 1799, he had built the first framed house in the town near where Middlebrook Mill is now being developed. Colonel Judd was the most influential early resident of Jefferson and was an officer in the Schoharie County Militia Regiment. He had a strong vision for the town, including plans on how it could be developed, and was a vocal advocate of education. Judd was instrumental in creating the town of Jefferson in 1803 from part of the town of Blenheim. The first town meeting was held in his house. In 1817, Judd donated one of his most valuable parcels of land to Jefferson to be used for a militia training ground and an academy, which is essentially today's green. The green was established in the heart of the town along with a critical travel route, which in 1805 had become the Albany and Delaware Turnpike. Judd had come from Connecticut, where New Englanders were accustomed to town greens in their communities. After the green was donated to the town, it became the center of development. Many of the earliest town businesses, public buildings, and residences were on or near the green. Over the years, the training ground has been referred to as the Military Square, Town or Village Green, the Jefferson Green, or Judd Park. Along the north side of the green, the Jefferson House, now the Heartbreak Hotel, became an early business in the town. The Masons met there before building their own lodge. Next door, to the east, is what many people remember as Hewlett's store, which had a long history as a general store. One more lot up the street was Civil War veteran Benjamin Reynolds' shoemaker's business for years before he became a general merchant. West from the Jefferson House was the Jefferson General Store in its later years, but earlier was a dry goods store and later an ice cream parlor and restaurant. The next business to the west was the largest business building in the town, which served as the Twitchell Hotel in the 1860s, and later a funeral parlor and furniture store, as well as housing many smaller businesses. On the south side of the green, additional businesses were established. Where the post office is today was a tin shop in the early days, then a series of hardware stores. It also became R&B Treadwell's restaurant and billiard hall. 2 doors to the east was Charles T. McMinn's tailor shop in a small building which later became Moses Wilcox Law Office. At the corner of Main Street and Creamery Street, this building started out as a private residence, became the Presbyterian Parsonage, the Dart Inn, and most recently, the Virginia Queen, through a series of owners. Community buildings were also drawn to the neighborhood of the green. The original Presbyterian church was built at the extreme southwest corner of the green, but shortly thereafter burned down in 1836. The following year, the church was rebuilt just across on the west side of Creamery Street. It served Jefferson until closing and merging with the Methodist Church in 1923. After that, the building functioned as the high school's gymnasium and hosted the school's basketball games. The American Legion took over the building in 1946 and used it for their activities until 1967. Then it was turned over to the town, and plans were made to convert it into a Maple Museum and Community Center. The Jefferson Historical Society now leases the building and has been restoring it. The Methodist Church was originally near the west end of Main Street, but was moved to the outside the green's southeast corner in 1859. The church leaders wanted to locate in that area because of the green's prominence. A major restoration project was done on the church in 1892, with the belfry being removed from the center of the building and a steeple added off-center. The church's first parsonage was on the north side of Main Street, just west of the green. Jefferson's first school was a log structure on the green. Later, at the northeast corner of the green, the Jefferson Academy, a two-room school, and a larger school stood on the current site of the Methodist Church. In 1912, Jefferson opened a new town hall and opera house along Park Avenue at the southwest corner of the green. The first floor contained town offices, a room for voting, and space for the fire department. On the main floor was a theater with a stage and balcony with seating for 350 people. Many dances, school plays, concerts, graduations, and community events enlivened the building. It also served as the local movie theater, supervised by general store owner T.I. Hewlett. The Opera House was deemed obsolete once the 1937 brick schoolhouse was built, so it was torn down in 1959 and replaced with a cinder block town hall and fire department building, which is now serving as the post office. While most of the area surrounding the green was filled with commercial and community buildings, several homes were also present. The striking home of New York State Supreme Court Judge Charles E. Nichols was the eastmost home on Park Avenue. It and the large home next door burned down in the 1980s. Dr. Alfred Wood also lived on that street. Dr. Richtmeier Hubble lived in a large house with a turret on Main Street on the north side of the green. The green itself has been a hub of activity and many uses for years. The Grand Army of the Republic, an organization of Civil War veterans, held encampments on the green. However, in 1872, articles appeared in the Jeffersonian newspaper complaining about livestock running on the green and throughout Jefferson, as well as construction debris being dumped there. Rules were instituted to control the degradation of the area. In 1879, Reverend Charles H. Travis, the Methodist minister, arranged for the planting of 120 maple trees with a potato in each hole, in a double row around the green. The resulting trees were known as the Bridle Path or Lover's Lane. A contract was let to build a fence around the green that year, but documentation that the project was ever completed has not been found, and photos of the green do not show a fence. In 1894, the Jefferson Park Association was formed, and the green was dubbed Judd Park. The purpose of the new group was to beautify the area, and volunteers gathered to work on the park. That year a fountain was added to the center of the park, but periodically was a subject of editorials in the paper during times when it was not well maintained, or when the runoff from it accumulated in the yard of a neighbor. The Jefferson Cornet Band was founded in 1879 and regularly gave performances on the green. In 1900, the band had George W. Harris design a bandstand for the green. His brother, Fred Harris, built the structure. The band played from the stand on Saturday nights to large crowds, often accompanied by an ice cream social. In recent years, the Historical Society has hosted old-time brass band concerts at the bandstand. In 1911, the women of the community organized the Village Improvement Society. They added flowers to the green, obtained and maintained gas streetlights, cared for the old cemetery, and had town sidewalks repaired. They proposed restoration of the fountain in 1913. With the school immediately adjacent to the green, there was need for a place for students to release their energy. In 1923, a group advocated for the building of a playground next to the school, and a major fundraising effort was undertaken to pay for it. Teachers and businesses were enthusiastically involved in the effort, which led to the swing set, slide, and teeter-totter next to a baseball field. In 2019, a controversy erupted when the town's insurance company demanded that it remove the slide that was well known for its long, bumpy ride. There is a maypole nearby on the green, but when that was installed is unknown. It may first have been built as a giant stride swinging device. Croquet grounds were on the area at some point as well. Today's basketball court was originally a tennis court. In 1931, the town allocated money to grade and seed the green to facilitate maintaining it with a lawnmower. Between 1966 to 1968, Boy Scouts planted maple trees on the green around the time of the Maple Festival to replace lost original trees. A large wooden sign had been on the north side of the green with a roster of names of the men and women who served in World War II. In 1969, the town board decided to replace that sign with a large boulder with a metal plaque honoring local veterans of all wars. In 1976, hardware store owner Walter Dittmeyer and the town supervisor Charles Buck Sr. each planted an evergreen on the green. The next year, the town had repairs done to the bandstand. The benches were painted, hedges trimmed, and a rustic fence was erected. A basketball court was established on the west side of the green. In some years, an ice skating rink was created on that paved area. In 2020, the Jefferson Historical Society, in cooperation with the town of Jefferson, added 9 sugar maples to the green, and 1 adjacent to the green at the Methodist Church. Those groups, along with a retired forester, worked together to plan for future care and management of the trees, as well as the green in general. The group arranged for memorial pavers associated with the new maple trees to be placed by the Veterans Memorial Rock. Large 4th of July events were a great tradition in Jefferson, but one year led to a serious injury. In 1865, Dr. Cooper walked in front of a cannon on the green during a celebration of the 4th, and a cannon blast struck him in the arm. He endured the amputation without any anesthetic and recovered quite well. The Jefferson Courier reported extensively on the 4th of July celebrations of 1918. As part of the parade, women represented the Allied nations in the war. The Jefferson fairs were also held on the green. These were often exceptionally large events and had livestock, vegetables, and other items displayed that rivaled many county fairs. Old Home Days started as a 2-day event in 1905. The celebration, much like a fair, continued, although it was reduced to a 1-day event through 1969. Except for 2 years during World War II, Old Home Day included speakers, concerts, dances, a regular parade, baby parades, chicken barbecues by the Methodist Church, children's games, baseball and softball games, and talent shows. It did not take place in the 1970 to 73 period, but resumed into the 1980s. Over time, different groups organized this event, including the Jefferson Automobile Club, the Ladies' Aid Society, Jefferson American Legion Post, the Methodist Church, and in the final years, the Jefferson Fire Department. The importance of the local maple industry contributed to the development of the Maple Festival in 1966. This event took place on the green and at other locations around town. Massive crowds gathered on the green to watch tree tapping and sap being boiled down in a temporary sap house. Musical performances, food booths, and vendors attracted people from miles around, as did the crowning of the Schoharie County Maple Queen. The event continued in Jefferson until 1993, but after that year moved to the fairgrounds in Cobleskill. The Jefferson Fun Festival was held for several years in the mid-1980s. It offered bed races, a 5K race, a horseshoe tournament, and children's events such as sack races. The Fun Festival organizers planted more maple trees on the green in 1987. Jefferson celebrated its bicentennial in 2003 with a large event on the green. The next year, the name Heritage Day was first used for this new annual event, much like Old Home Days, with a parade, vendors, and music on the green. In recent years, the Jefferson Historical Society has sponsored blues maneuver concerts on the green the night before Heritage Day. The Society has also had displays of old Jefferson photos and memorabilia in the Maple Museum, or more recently, Judd Hall, on Heritage Day. The Fire Department has done barbecues, and the Methodist women have sold pies. This event has occurred each year since the bicentennial, except for 2020 when it was canceled due to the COVID pandemic. The Historical Society started running a farmers market in 2017 in the Maple Museum. More recently, they were held on the green. The Green is at the center of Jefferson, and commercial, public, and residential development has flourished around it. The Green continues to attract new businesses such as the Jefferson House Airbnb in the former Wilcox residence. It provides an extremely attractive center for the town. For over 2 centuries, it has been the gathering place within the community for special events, as a place to relax and for children to play. It is a great resource that few other local towns can equal. Colonel Stephen Judd's legacy continues to evolve and prosper.